How's it going, folks? I'm Des with DesFit, and it's been about a year and a half since Fitbit came out with the Charge 3, and the Charge 3 turned out to be a pretty popular device. I did an in-depth review of it, and I'll leave a link for that video in the description below, but spoiler alert, I kinda liked it, except for the fact that it didn't have built-in GPS. But today, Fitbit has the Charge 4 that does have built-in GPS, Fitbit Pay, as well as a few other new features. So in this video, we're gonna go ahead and unbox it. We're gonna take a really close look at it, and we're gonna take a tour of the interface as well as the smartphone app. And then I'm even gonna go ahead and take this out for a first run and first ride here in just 1 second, just so I can give my initial impressions of how it's gonna perform, especially with that new onboard GPS. Then over the course of the next few weeks, just like all my other reviews, I'll go ahead and test this extremely thoroughly, testing it for as many activities as I can. So make sure to subscribe to get a notification when that video comes out. Oh, and one last thing before we get this out of the box is that if this video did help you out, or if you liked the video, make sure to hit that like button down below, as it definitely helps the channel a lot and I appreciate it. Okay, so let's check this thing out. So the Charge 4 is going to be very similar to the Charge 3, but the big difference is going to be that inclusion of GPS right on the device. So with the Charge 3, to get it to track outdoor activities, you actually had to carry your phone with you, and then it used your phone GPS for tracking, where with the Charge 4, that's going to be built in right to the device, so you can leave your phone at home if you wish when you go for a run. So in the box, you're going to get the Charge 4 itself, and then it does also include a large as well as a small wristband, so it's going to fit a variety of wrist sizes. The other thing you're going to get right here is going to be the included charging cable, and then your normal safety and product information. So what you're going to notice is that it looks extremely similar to the Charge 3, except the Charge 4 is going to be just ever so slightly larger. And then in terms of the straps, these are really easy to remove. So all you do is go ahead and do that. Clip it back on. It is going to be water resistant down to 50 meters. And then on the back is going to be that familiar heart rate sensor that does have an SpO2 sensor, which will monitor your blood oxygen levels when you sleep. So the charging clip, that's going to be super easy. Basically, that's going to go ahead and clip onto the device using these little contact points right here. And that's actually what's going to turn on the device for the first time. So to set up the Charge 4, you are going to have to use the Fitbit app. And then if you just go into set up a device here, you go ahead and choose Charge 4 and then press setup. Agree to stuff, and then it's going to tell you to charge your Charge 4, which I've already go ahead and plug this in. All right, so while it's setting up, let's go ahead and check out some of the awesome things that you can do with your Charge 4. So it's going to be an activity tracker, obviously. So it's going to be able to track your steps, your distance, your floors climbed. And the reason it can do that is because it does have a built-in altimeter. And then it's going to also have your estimated calories that you burned. And then something new is going to be this new active zone minutes. So basically, this is going to be essentially how much time you're spending in each target heart rate zone. And then you will be able to exercise with heart rate because it does have a built-in heart rate sensor as well as GPS. So that way it'll give you a real-time pace and distance. And then there's going to be exercise tracking as well as 24/7 heart rate tracking. And then it's going to have Fitbit's legendary sleep tracking with sleep stages as well as sleep score. And then there's actually going to be a new feature that's coming to Charge 4, which you're going to call Smart Wake, which basically uses machine learning to kind of optimize the best time to actually wake you up. And then you're going to be able to get notifications, and then you can actually send quick replies to text on Android phones only. And then the other big thing is that with all Charge 4s, you actually could get this with the special edition of the Charge 3, but you're going to have Fitbit Pay directly on the wrist. All right, so now that the Charge 4 is ready, let's go ahead and try it on. So what I liked about the Charge 3 is that it provided a lot of functionality and something that didn't necessarily look like a watch. Some people may actually not want a full-blown watch, but the Charge 3 as well as the Charge 4, it comes with a lot of functionality with something that it's going to be a lot smaller and a lot sleeker. So it's going to have the same 160 by 100 pixel OLED grayscale display that the Charge 3 had, but with the Charge 4, it's actually supposed to have better backlighting that adjusts to different lighting conditions. The display is going to be protected by Gorilla Glass 3, and the advertised battery life is about 7 days, just like the Charge 3. And I found that to be pretty accurate on the Charge 3, but I'll still make sure to go ahead and test it out on the Charge 4. So navigating the device is going to be similar to the Charge 3, where you're going to swipe up and you're going to see some stats like your steps, your heart rate, your distance, calories burned, floors climbed, and there's obviously no sleep data. And then pressing this little button right over here, which is a non-physical button, but provides just a little bit of feedback, will actually take you back to the last screen. And then from here, you're going to be able to swipe down, and this is going to show your latest texts and calls, which we don't have anything yet. So that's why it says nothing new here. And then if you press and hold this button right here, you can actually access different things like your payments, do not disturb, as well as screen wake. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the apps that are built in. So you're going to have your exercise. So this is going to have running outside, biking outside, swimming, treadmill, outdoor workout, and then walking profile. And then you can customize these in the Fitbit app, which we'll take a look at here in just 1 second. And then you're going to have your agenda, which is going to pull in calendar events from your phone. And then a relax app. You're going to have different timers like a stopwatch as well as a countdown timer. And then you're going to have alarms, weather, which is going to show the current weather. And then you can actually set up other locations in the Fitbit app. And then you're going to have settings. And then this is going to have your brightness setting right here, where it's auto, dim, normal. Go ahead and leave it as auto. Vibrations, where there's going to be normal, strong. And then you can go ahead and turn on or off the heart rate sensor. There's going to be a do not disturb mode. And then you can customize the notifications during sleep. And then this is going to be just like your general about stuff. So let's go ahead and take a tour of the smartphone app in terms of what you can do with their Charge 4. So basically with here, you can have your clock faces, where this is going to be the installed watch faces on the watch itself, as well as all the other watch faces. So basically all in all, there looks to be about 24 different watch faces. And then we're going to have your apps right here. So these are going to be apps that are going to be already loaded onto the device, as well as other apps that you can load. So with the Charge 4, there's also going to be a new app with Spotify Connect and Control. Now, this doesn't mean that you can actually load music onto the Charge 4 itself and then pair it with a pair of headphones. This will actually just be a dedicated app that'll connect to Spotify on your phone and just control the music that's playing on your phone. And then here's where you're going to set up Fitbit Pay or the wallet. And then there's going to be some other settings that you're going to have down here. So basically wrist being the dominant or non-dominant. And then you're going to have notification settings. So you can actually customize these for calls, text messages, as well as calendar events, as well as app notifications. And then you're also going to have reminders to move, which will basically just kind of give you a little vibration on the watch when you're sedentary. And then you can adjust your main goal for the day. So you can have your steps, distance, calories burned, floors climbed, or active zone minutes. And then from there, you can have your exercise shortcut. So basically with the Charge 4 as well as the Charge 3, there's only a certain amount of activity profiles you can have loaded onto the watch itself at one given time. So right now it says your Charge 4 is fully loaded. To add more activities, remove one of them above. So basically, if we edit this, we can remove spinning. And then this little exercise shortcut button will actually enable. Then here's where you can see all the different activity profiles. So I may do an indoor biking workout this weekend. So I'll go ahead and choose spinning for that. Go ahead and click done. And then from there, you're going to have your all day sync. And then you can also adjust your device lock down here. All right, so now that we have the Charge 4 all set up, I guess it's time to go ahead and take this out for a first run and first ride. So this is going to take me maybe an hour and a half or two, but for you, I think it's just going to be just like that. All right, so I'm back after a ride as well as a run, so let's go ahead and check out some of this data. So just a note, I wanted to make sure that the Charge 4 was using its own GPS, not piggybacking off of my phone like the Charge 3 did. So what I did was I went ahead and turned Bluetooth off on my phone. So if we check out this bike ride, we can see that the total distance lined up pretty well, although just a bit higher than the 3 other test devices, but overall, not a whole lot to complain about here. And then the elevation was within the same ballpark as well as the other test devices. If we take a more detailed look at the GPS track, it does an okay job for the most part. However, it does tend to round some corners, especially at higher speeds. But in regards to heart rate, and what you'll see here is that the average heart rate was just slightly higher in the Charge 3. If we take a look at the heart rate in a more detailed analysis tool, what we can see is that the heart rate has some little mini spikes throughout the ride. Oh, and really quick before we get into running, is I also did want to share my results in terms of battery life. So when I left for that ride, I had about 50% of the battery. And then when I got back after an hour and a half later, it had 17%. So basically doing the math, it was burning about 22% of the battery per hour. So basically that means that you could probably do a nonstop 4.5-hour GPS activity on the Charge 4, assuming it was fully charged. But I'm going to do a lot more testing with the battery in different scenarios. So stay tuned for the final review to get more details on that. Anyhow, let's go ahead and get into running. So on this first run, distance lined up really well, which also translated into pretty similar average pace. Good stuff there. Then on the second run, it was just a little higher than 3 other test devices. Not crazy off, but just a smidge higher. And if we take a look at the GPS tracks, what we can see is that it kind of swoops around some of these corners a little bit wider than the other 2 test devices. But in regards to the heart rate, you'll notice that it's about 9 beats per minute lower than some other external heart rate straps, although it was darn close in tracking max heart rate. And then what we can see here when we compare the heart rate data is that the heart rate dips here right in the middle of the run and then had a bit of a challenge at the end here. So for heart rate, I'd say that it worked pretty well for the road ride, although it tracked a little bit high, and then for running, it tracked a little bit low. So these were just my first 2 tests, and there are firmware updates that happen over time, so stay tuned for the final review where I'll have a lot more examples to look at. But the good news is that the GPS looks like it's working pretty well. The second run was just a little bit high, but the other run as well as the ride, those were perfectly fine. So I really like the Charge 3. I thought it was a very capable device for the money, and they only improved that by adding GPS to the Charge 4. Now, the Charge 3 and the Charge 4, it has a really nice display, but do note that it can be a little bit challenging to read in direct sunlight just because honestly, it's extremely glossy. But if you're a Charge 3 owner, should you upgrade to the Charge 4? Well, if you tend to do more outdoor activities and would like to leave your phone at home, then you may want to consider the Charge 4. But if you tend to do more indoor activities or don't mind bringing your phone with you, you could probably just stick with your Charge 3 for the moment. Anyhow, if you liked the video or found this video useful, make sure to hit that like button down below and also subscribe to the channel for the in-depth review of the Charge 4 that's coming soon. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next video.